With this, we will continue our discussion with the edit-users.php. Since I have added already the edit users and the delete users for the sake of what's this? Doing it step by step for everyone. Okay, I'll just put it in my backup folder, and we will start with the new one. Okay. Since I will also provide an activity sheet for you to follow, uh, just like the previous ones, no. So this will only contain activity. This will only up to activity 3, which is both the edit users.php and the delete.php, because the delete.php is just very simple, uh, few lines of codes, okay, that you can copy and paste. Now, the same thing that we need to do when we set up another page for this a simple project, we need to first check if WAMP is running. Okay, so WAMP is running now. And then I will open a text editor. So I will open Notepad. I will use Notepad as my text editor. And the very first thing again, since the edit.php also requires a front-end interface, wherein we can update the record that we have selected on our browse users.php. So we need to create a basic bootstrap, okay, basic bootstrap structure, which just contains the title of the particular page and the reference to the Bootstrap CSS and Bootstrap JavaScript. Okay. After which, we can save this one in the root folder, the same thing, inside our folder. And we name this one as edit-users.php. Okay. Then we can see there the edit-users.php. Okay. Now, since the edit users.php, okay, will appear once we click, okay, going back here, once we click the edit link, here is the edit link in the browse users.php. So this is where the functionality of the edit users.php will be triggered to start, okay, once you click on this one. So each of the row in our database record has an edit function, no, or an edit link. Okay. If we're going to check the browse users.php, amo ni siya ang code dira, oh. So sa browse users.php, iterate na anaton ang kada user data didto sa my or ang aton nga record, no, sa aton nga database. Tapos ginapopulate ta ang each of this row, no, or column rather. Okay? So kada row isa ka count na di. Okay? Ginlink naton dayon ang ngalan nga users edit users.php, which will receive the value of the ID sang gin-click naton nga row. Okay? As you can see, ara. So, ang value nga edit ID equals the ID sang row nga na. And the same thing with the delete later on, no? So, may delete ID lang kita para specific nga information or specific nga record lang gid ang aton nga i-edit or i-delete. So, amo ni siya ang link corresponding to this one. Okay, so edit and delete. So, going back on our edit users.php code, okay? So what we need to do is to provide, okay? Provide the PHP code that will receive, okay? That will receive the edit ID, okay? That is provided when we click this link. going into the edit-users.php. So with this, sa babaw sang aton nga doctype HTML, I will add na lang the PHP code and explain. Okay? So here is our PHP code again in our edit users. We call again the connection for config.php so that it establishes a connection for this particular um, page. Okay? So there is a conditional here. By the way, $_request is a global variable. Okay, meaning some global variable is you can actually utilize it in your multiple files even if you don't declare it anywhere in the anywhere in your file, because this is a global variable that is being set already in the PHP environment. So ang upod niya sini is we have also $_get, $_post, and basically this gets, okay, value from the URL. I will show you later on that within the URL, dira ginapasa ang edit ID. Okay? And basically, it will get all the records and put it in a variable called row. So we put it in a variable nga row. This is an array data, getting all the records from the database.php class. Okay, remember the .db is within the config.php, and get all records is basically a command in the database.php class. So with get all records, it needs to supply the users and particular command, such that the asterisk is a command or a keyword for our SQL. And this is actually SQL man. No, SQL nga command. And the request is edit ID. So whatever edit ID is available that has been passed from the browse users.php, it will get the records based on that. Okay? Such that for in this case, if I click edit on this one, okay, if I click edit, okay, ang iyang ID nga ibutang is ID number 1. Edit ID equals 1. Such that in this two, edit ID equals 7. Okay? So we'll finish this first after that. This one are actually just conditionals for getting each of the value. For example, the username, the user email, and the user phone. And basically, this puts all the records that has been fetched from the database into an array, okay, and pass it into the data variable. And once that is available, this data, okay, is used for the update. So as you can see, ari naman db update, ari ang iya db get all records. So these are functionalities sa my database PHP class. Okay, where are we? Okay, so db update, okay, users, then the data, okay, the data contains the array. So the data for the username, user email, and user phone. Well, basically this is just the variable. Okay, this is just the variable in here, and username and user email is the name of the field or the attributes in our database. So kung magdugang ka kung damo-damo ka mo sang gina-edit nga field, so meaning idugang nyo na di. So like for example, may ara ka mo uh, for student names, may ara ka mo sang field gid para sa first name. Muna. Tapos but singanon sina, you will have also another variable within this file nga naga-correspond sa amo na. Pero you should have added already the first name nga column, no, the first name nga column in your database. For now, we will just get this. I think we can give an example of adding a particular field on this sample project in the next na lang para unahon talanda na ang functionality nga edit. Okay? With this, it will basically update the records based on the particular ID in our database. And then if the update is successful, it will just throw no, a message like this and return back into the browse users.php. Okay? So now that we have added our PHP code, no, we need something in edit-users.php to receive the value, no? Especially for username, user email, and user phone. Ma-receive some value para maka-edit ka. So that is where our bootstrap component comes in. So the bootstrap component that we will be utilizing here is, again, a form field enclosed in a grid. Okay? So let me just discuss a little bit. So here we have a div class with six columns for small devices. Remember this class name. And then just for the label, a card title. And then for method, since this will update a record, the method that we will be using is post. Okay, duwa man lang usually gid ang particular nga importante nga for method, get kag post. So ang get nagakuha sang record, ang post nagabutang sang record. So each of the text fields in the form, like the username again, user email, is created using labels and input type. Okay, as you can see here, the value PHP echo row 0, which is the username. So this is um, getting from the value of this one. Okay, so row 0 is actually corresponds to, okay, the username. Okay, so the value of the first um, index of a particular row, okay, kwaon niya ang username and put it as the value sang input type. Just like this one, no? Ang value nga enter username, amo na ang value na da. So ini, it's dynamic, it's a dynamic data. Try to notice nga pwede kita makabutang sang static data. And of course, because we are using PHP, we are fetching record from the database and this is a dynamic data. Dynamic data because it changes depending on, of course, in this case, the row IDs nga ginkuha naton from the browse users.php here. Same thing with this one, row 0 sang user email. Okay, row 0 because we're just getting one ID. Diba? We're just getting one ID. So that is just one instance of a particular record sa aton nga database. And also user phone. Okay, and this one is basically a submit type. Okay, just getting again the edit ID value. And the important one here is the submit button. So this creates already, okay, our edit users.php. So this says that the edit.php is already available. So if I'm going to click this one, we need to check if the edit users.php is working. So let me try to click this one. I think I need to reload. Okay, reload. And then I'll click this one, edit. And this is, as you can see already, on my URL, is corresponding already to the edit users.php and it passes the value of edit ID, which is 1 depending on the value that I have. Okay, click here on the edit link on each of the row, for example. And the values, as you can see, is being passed and populated also in each of the form field for the user to edit. Such as, for example, I will put test edit number 4 already. So test edit 4 and then I will also edit the email. So when I update the user, this go back to, okay, this goes back to the, what's this? The browse users.php, and as you can see, it passes the message RUS. The message RUS is an identifier to be able to okay, to be able to display this kind of notification. So the last thing is we need to add the something on the browse users.php such that this one, the validation, okay, validation code. So ari man lang ang si RUS. So if the header, as you can see, else if is set the request message and request message equals RUS, then it will echo or display a division with alert success nga class name, and then a font awesome, and just the text record updated successfully. As you can see, that corresponds to that one. Okay, this corresponds to this one. Okay, so that's the last thing actually for edit.php. Okay, so when you click on the update, as you can see, since the message is RNU, there's actually a particular record that has not been updated. So okay, there's no update on the record. But if, okay, I'll check this one, test. I'll edit the one, test one and test one like that, and update. So the record notification that it has been updated successfully is available. Okay. Now, basically that constitutes already the edit users.php. Okay. So the full source code will be given again in the activity sheet that I will upload after the class. And let me just go into the details of delete.php. Actually, if we go and see the delete.php, you just need to copy and paste the code that is available. But the code for the delete.php is very short. What it does is, again, it calls the config.php for establishing the database connection. And the same thing with edit users. It needs to have the delete ID that is passed from the browse users into this particular page, no, or particular code. And since we have already a connection to the database, it will call the delete function, which passes the name of the table and the array ID of the a particular row that needs to be deleted. Okay? So but in we need to add this particular message in the browse users.php. So if I'm going to save this one, the delete.php, okay? This functionality is also here in the browse users.php. So for example, I need to delete this row with the ID 9. Okay? And to test that my delete.php, which I have added in my project folder, is working, so I need just to test if this one is, okay, working. So this notification is a basic, no? The basic thing that browsers is actually asking, okay, when we perform a delete function. So are you sure to delete this user? Okay. And let us check, for example, the functionality on the database.php. So function get, prepare, get all. This is the get all records that is being called from some of our uh, pages, no? And we have the update for the edit, and then we have the, okay, delete. Here's the delete. Okay, here's the delete function. Okay, so these are just some of the SQL commands that is directly run in the database. As I have mentioned, I cannot discuss maybe thoroughly SQL na. I'll just leave it now during your information management class to discuss about this. But at least you have already familiarity with. That's why I have used and created this database PHP class because this can be utilized already for any application. No? So biskan lain-lain inyo nga system obrahon, same lang gyapon na ang mga methods. Okay? And there's no particular diri daan nga mention sa database nga ano sang database name and user. So tables gali rather. Kundi ang table name, structures ng inyo database are separated from this one. Okay? So when that one when we try to click on OK, so basically the record will be deleted and the table will be updated. Okay, so if we're going to refresh, and of course if we try to check on our database, PHP my admin. Sorry, PHP, not PH my admin. PHP my admin. So we can see the database. I think I'm using the database. Let me check my config. My config.php says I'm using what type of database? The test database. Okay, so I'm using the test database. So that means that if I'm going to check the test database, so I'll go to the databases, I'll click on the test database and click on the users table. This will give me also the record. So the records here, as you can see, the record with the ID 9 is not also available in the database. So whatever is the records here in the database will be displayed also in my browse users.php. So 2, 4, 6, 8. I have 8 records in here and also I have 2, 4, 6, 8 records. And the timestamp here. Although the timestamp for editing basically is not edited now when you update the record, but it can still be updated when we have the right code or functionality added on our page.